An acquaintance of hers tells her that she met OP's husband at a park with their youngest son, together with a woman the husband introduced as his sister. Well, both OP and her husband don't have sisters. Let's read the story to see what happens next. Original post: I've been married to my husband for a long time. We have kids, a house, and pets together. We have an active, intimate life. We go on dates often and share a lot of the same hobbies. Today he's at a pool party with our oldest son. I took our youngest to the water park in town, where I ran into one of the other moms I know. We started talking and she mentioned at one point that it had been so nice to meet my husband's younger sister last week and asked if she was my sister or his. I replied that neither one of us has a sister and asked her what the woman looked like. She said she was young and petite with dark hair. I only have a much younger brother with red hair, and he has a brother who is over 6 feet, so neither one of us have a sibling who could be confused for a sister. He doesn't have any cousins, and I do, but he's not close with any of them. I'm freaking out because obviously the first thing my mind goes to is he is cheating. I remember him going to the park last week, and he never made any mention of meeting up with anyone or hanging out with anyone there, and my youngest son isn't old enough to tell me. I can't get through to him because his phone isn't on him since they're in the pool, so now I'm just here freaking out because my mind is going wild. Now for the top advice before reading the update. Ask him when he comes home. But it is a bit weird, if he is cheating, bringing that woman around the kids even with other moms, and introduce her as sister. Not much fun and too obvious. Yes, that part seems really off to me as well. Super odd, but at the same time, I work with a lady who routinely will make up stuff just like this, to try and snoop or see people's reactions. I can confirm that there are sick individuals who like stirring up the situation just for kicks. Someone I was friendly with at work made up a sob story about her husband mistreating her and needing help, just to see what reaction she could get. This woman was trying to help you out while being low-key. She saw something was up 100%. She made sure to mention something to you so you could investigate. I'm guessing you're more acquaintances than friends. So, she probably didn't feel comfortable coming right out and saying it, so she told you in a roundabout way. This covers her bases. She isn't intruding while letting you know what she saw, but leaving room in case you guys are swingers or something. After you figure out what's going on, you should bring her a bottle of wine. I think you are completely correct here. The acquaintance told OP what she saw, and gave her the bare bones facts. I was at the park, said hello to your husband, your son, and a petite dark-haired woman your husband introduced as his little sister. But it seems like when OP said there was no little sister, the acquaintance wasn't shocked or embarrassed. She'd already suspected the story was false. She could have sensed this from a split-second, oh shoot, facial expression on the husband, or how the little sister didn't respond in a natural way, or sudden awkward body language from either of them or even from the little boy. I agree, this was a polite way of saying, FYI, I saw XYZ and thought there was something off, but don't really know. Just say it how it is. I got asked whose sister was whose when you went to the park with our son, can you explain? Yeah, this is what I'm going to say once he comes home. And now for the update. When he got home from the pool party with our son, I simply said, Trish said she ran into you at the park. She said you were with someone you introduced as your sister. Who was it? I knew something was up because he was just silent, and he didn't say anything. Then he just said, okay, we need to talk. Do you want to do this now, or later? Obviously, I said now, so he told the boys to go play downstairs. He admitted he had been planning on leaving me for a while, but he had wanted to wait for the right time to do it. He said he had met someone else he had feelings for. He had met her last year and things happened slowly. He said he never cheated on me physically, but there were a lot of times he told me he was doing work when he was really texting her or going into his office to FaceTime her, and they would sometimes meet up. I asked him why he felt okay bringing our son around this person, and he said it was because our son already knew her, which is when I found out that his little sister, and person he's leaving me for, is our son's daycare teacher. My husband is the one who drops off every morning, so I guess that's how they met. I should have guessed something was up when he began volunteering to go pick him up as well. He seemed apologetic and kept repeating that he never did anything physical, and that he wanted to remain civil for the kids. I still haven't fully processed any of this. He's living in the basement apartment until we get things figured out. I never understand in these situations how someone in a committed relationship can just, hey, I met another person and we got along so, bye. I know, right, and usually way before their honeymoon stage of meeting them is even over. Everyone poops rainbows and butterflies in the beginning. Yep, this is how my marriage imploded. She offered sunshine and rainbows, and everything that he felt was lacking with me, until she didn't. Then according to him she was a psycho-crazy witch, and he should have given our marriage a chance. I'm like, should have thought about giving it a chance before ever cheating in the first place. They always swear it wasn't physical, but I doubt it. I have a hard time believing someone would leave a marriage for someone they don't even know is compatible in the bedroom. As a teacher, there's ethical boundaries we are not allowed to cross. Having an affair with our students' parents is one. Report her. Now, she should not be in a position of power over your child. This, especially since she was working when this happened. Report her and make sure there's actual consequences. This is totally inappropriate. Exactly, OP, please report. As an ex-ECE teacher, I can tell you it is unethical to sleep or foster a personal relationship with any of the children's parents. This allows for the ECE teacher to play favorites as long as the relationship goes well. But the moment something bad happens, that child's life at the daycare is over. If you're in a small town, possibly forever. All ECE or school staff gossip. As much as we deny it, we gossip about your kid, their behavior, their home life, etc. Anything we know of, we gossip. So, if your child is labeled a troublemaker, your child is branded for life. It's even harder for boys to break that label. If he wanted to remain civil for the kids, starting an emotional affair surely was not the way to go. Well, I promise at least we never consummated it, as if he's not already put a bomb between you two. OP, definitely take all the time you need to process this and revisit the situation to talk when you're calm. It's really silly of him to try to say he wanted to be civil, while he was actively cheating on you, going on dates and talking to her. It's really weird for him to still say he wants to be civil. But of course he had to go on dates while married. He had to be sure before he jumped ship. Next story is titled, My 46 female husband, 47 male is demanding a post-nup. My husband and I have been together for 15 years and married for 8 years. We have a 6-year-old daughter together. Before getting married, my husband was first a nurse, but he was very unhappy in that field. He ended up quitting his job and doing 2 years of working a lot of short-lived odd jobs before deciding to go to vet school. This was done against all advice from others because of the expense involved. His parents refused to pay, so I ended up co-signing the loan and working to support us both. He got out of school 9 years ago. We married when he was struggling to find a position at a place that paid the average rate for a vet. We then moved so he could get a position he was happy with. Since then, he has first earned a high salary, and then was liked enough by patrons that he ended up opening a clinic of his own. Now he has 2 locations with employees that all work under him. He also has parlayed his previous experience in nursing and business to consult on the side for businesses such as nursing homes, hospice, and substance use treatment facilities. We had a bump in the 3rd year of marriage because he didn't want me to work anymore. He made me feel like my salary no longer meant anything. I ended up quitting because of my mom guilt. I am currently looking at online college options, since I only have an associate degree. Recently he's been very distant. I just have that intuitive pit in my stomach when he would travel for a consulting project and not answer my text or call me when promised, or him sounding like he was whispering when he did call me. There's an intern he hired 2 years in a row, whose mother was bold enough to come up to me at a party and say that my husband really adores her daughter, and she has hearts in her eyes with him. I keep thinking, no way, because she is 25 years his junior and has a boyfriend. But she treats me with open disrespect, and my husband doesn't care that I'm hurt by it. He's always on his phone ignoring me when I speak. The intern was out of the picture for a while, but now I saw her name pop up on his phone several times. At an event, my husband pushed past our daughter to speak to her. I don't think I'm a jealous person normally. I don't begrudge my husband finding other women attractive, even if he doesn't hide it from me. But I want warmth from my husband, and I don't want him to act on these feelings of attraction to other women. We had a fight about me refusing to get a tummy tuck, and then he caught me looking at credit card statements and flipped out, leaving the house. He came back calmer and said that he's sorry if he's intense. Most people in his field are. He also said that a lot of the business world he's a part of is something I'll never understand. He said he has employees to think about and asked me to sign a post-nup. He said that it shouldn't be a big deal if I wasn't with him for the money. I was shocked and asked him how long he's had this on his mind. He said that it's been for a while, but he got pretty angry when our daughter recently blurted out that she will help animals like Dad. He says that he believes I'm teaching our daughter to be entitled and thinking that she'll inherit any of his business, or that I was passing on this attitude by trying to subtly meddle in his business. I asked what the terms of the post-nup were, and he showed me a draft. It says that I will get $10,000 a year for every year we are married, to be paid out in yearly installments for the length of our marriage. I could also keep any gifts he bought me during the marriage. I would refinance to buy him out of our heavily mortgaged property, which I won't be able to afford to keep as a result. In addition, the $10,000 a year would be lowered if he ended up having other dependents, with a certain amount for each dependent he ended up gaining. And I would forfeit any claim to his vet clinics or other side income. I was in shock. I asked rather dryly if he couldn't put in a compensation for the amount of debt that I took on, and paid a huge part in paying off for him to get his education. I also asked if there could be a mutual infidelity or abandonment clause. He flipped out and said that infidelity clauses annoy judges, because then everybody will be hiding in the bushes to spy on their partners. He said that if I just loved him for him, then I'd sign it and understand why I needed to. But if I didn't, then I'm not the same woman he married. What do I do? He always seems to have legal counsel around him advising him how to come out on top. And this document essentially gives me less a year than his business can earn in a week. Now for the top advice. Do not sign. Something tells me intern is pregnant. This, or if not, she will be soon enough. This is a transparent attempt at an exit strategy. OP needs to stall him, pretend to be considering it, and say she is probably going to sign it. And instead, quietly lawyer up and get all her ducks in a row to exit this marriage herself now, based on the current situation, not his slimy attempt at a post-nup. You get yourself a lawyer. You have been together long enough and shared finances out him through school and created his business. No lawyer is going to let you agree to this. Good luck. This, just to be clear, by get yourself a lawyer, we mean a good divorce lawyer. We don't mean she should even consider this post-nup. He's obviously trying to create a firewall for when he dumps OP. There are some elements in the story that could point to narcissistic behavior. OP is potentially unaware of that. Him being a nurse, not liking that, changing jobs a lot of times. Everything is not good enough until finally he has his own clinic. Him using others, his then girlfriend's money, to get ahead. Him feeling entitled to more than what usual people would find just. Him weaseling arguments with absurd claims. There could be quite some stuff that OP isn't telling because she hasn't even realized. I hope OP manages to divorce without being screwed over too much, and manages to keep the warmth in her life that she seeks. OP probably should do everything she can to document the financial situation before he manages to keep it from her, if he not even has done that. Make sure she has copies of all the documents, tax reports, bank statements and such, and her personal documents like passport, birth certificate, and so on. All this can get nasty very quickly when he realizes she will not just go and leave him with everything. I'm sorry you have to endure that, OP. You own half of his business, you put him through vet school and held down the house while he built his business. That's why he wants you to sign away you and your child's rights. He treats you and your child with contempt, and he's showing all the signs of infidelity. The probable affair partner treats you badly, and her own mother has confronted you. Sign nothing, take all of your info to a good divorce attorney. Now for the last story. My 29 female partner, 31 male, won't marry me after 10 years. My partner and I have been dating for 10 years. We started off as friends, then best friends, then finally dating. We've said I love yous for almost as long as we've been dating. We've been talking about marriage for about 8 or so years, and we've been living together for about 5 or so. But he still hasn't proposed. It's not like I'm quietly waiting. We've talked about it a lot. He has made it clear on several occasions that he wants to be the one to propose. He also said he has anxiety and social anxiety, and that's contributing to it. But I also have anxiety, and honestly, this is making it worse. I've made it clear that I'm not very traditional, and we could go to a ring store together and then immediately drive over to the courthouse. I don't care about the wedding or a crazy proposal. I just want to marry him. He says he wants to marry me too, but now I'm afraid something is going on. I trust him to not lie or cheat on me or anything. I don't think it's something that overt. Maybe even though he loves me and is faithful, he just doesn't want to marry me. He just may not realize it. I once gave him a year to propose or I was going to propose, and he said again that he wanted to be the one to propose. So, a year went by and no proposal. I didn't propose, however, because crap hit the fan within that year, so I wanted to give some wiggle room. But still nothing. I love him more than I can really say, but the agony of feeling unwanted and then being questioned with, "Don't you trust me?" After 8 years of what feels like a huge broken promise, it sucks. I've talked to close friends about it, and was told that between 6 to 8 months into the relationship is all it should take for him to know where we're headed. They also told me stories of theirs, or people they know, who were with someone for 10 or even 15 years, and then broke up because he wouldn't propose, just for him to marry someone new 6 months later. I just want to know what to do. I love him and trust him, so I don't think he's purposely leading me on, but I just want some advice on what to do. I understand that there is a possibility that I'm being insensitive or overdramatic, but I'm not a robot, so my feelings aren't going to change overnight. If he hasn't married you in 10 years, chances are he never will, and this is backed up by the 1-year situation. You shouldn't have to set an ultimatum for a man to get you a ring. He just doesn't want to. Yep, and an ultimatum will backfire on her, because if he does follow through with it, it will build resentment with him and affect their relationship moving forward. Not to mention OP will still probably resent him a bit for making her have to pull an ultimatum to propose. I think that he doesn't want OP to propose because he knows she will do it and he has commitment issues. OP, don't give in to the sunk cost fallacy. End this without wasting any more time on him. I once gave him a year to propose or I was going to propose, and he said again that he wanted to be the one to propose. So, a year went by and no proposal. 1. If you give someone an ultimatum and don't follow through, what you're demonstrating is that they can get away with the behavior you're identifying as unacceptable. An ultimatum should only happen if you're willing to stick to it. 2. It's not a good idea to propose to someone you aren't 100% confident will say yes. If you're having doubts about whether or not he even wants to marry you, I wouldn't propose. You have two options as I see it. Get into couples counseling so you can discuss this issue openly, or set a timeline and stick to it. Are you willing to walk away over this? You need to figure that out before issuing a timeline. Because if you are, he needs to understand that those are the stakes. If you aren't, then I think you need to make peace with the fact that a new timeline will likely not change anything, since he knows you won't deliver real consequences if he misses it. People asking why you want to be married are missing the point. The point is that he knows this is important to you, has been making promises for years, and is refusing to follow through on those promises. That's a trust issue, and it's irrelevant whether anyone else thinks wanting to be married is valid.